July 12, 2022 meeting of the Monroe County Legislature will now come to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Alcoffer. Mr. Alcoffer is present. Ms. Barnhart. Here. Ms. Barnhart is present. Mr. Baines. Here. Mr. Baines is present. Mr. Blankley. Mr. Blankley is present. Mr. Brew. Here. Mr. Brew is present. Mr. Burgess. Here. Mr. Burgess is present. Mr. Colby. Here. Mr. Colby is present. Mr. Delahanty. Here. Mr. Delahanty is present. Ms. Delvecchio Hoffman. Ms. Delvecchio Hoffman is present. Ms. DeFlorio is excused. Mr. Dondorfer. Here. Mr. Dondorfer is present. Mr. Frazier. Here. Mr. Frazier is present. Ms. Hasman. Here. Ms. Hasman is present. Mr. Hebert. Here. Mr. Hebert is present. Ms. Hughes Smith. Here. Ms. Hughes Smith is present. Mr. Johns. Here. Mr. Johns is present. Mr. Keller. Mr. Keller is present. President Lamar. Here. President Lamar is present. Mr. Long. Here. Mr. Long is present. Mr. Mafucci. Here. Mr. Mafucci is present. Mr. Marinetti. Here. Mr. Marinetti is present. Mr. McCabe is excused. Mr. Milne. Here. Mr. Milne is present. Ms. Roman. Here. Ms. Roman is present. Ms. Smith. Here. Ms. Smith is present. Ms. Taylor. Here. Ms. Taylor is present. Ms. Vasquez Simmons. Ms. Vasquez Simmons is present. Ms. Vecchio. Here. Ms. Vecchio is present. And Mr. Udelson. Here. Mr. Udelson is present.
Please stay seated while I introduce David Hurlbut, Worship Director of Hope Church, who has been invited by Legislator Smith to lead us in a moment of prayer.
We bow our hearts. Heavenly Father, you are the giver of all good gifts. We thank you for this nation. We thank you for our state. We thank you for this county. And we thank you, Father, for all who have been called into service to serve the people of this county. We ask, Father, for wisdom that comes from your hand, that you'd give discernment, that it would, all conversation and debate, Father, would give you honor and be a blessing to the people, both those who serve and those who are served. So, Father, we lift up this night, and we lift it up in Jesus' mighty name, who simply taught us to love you and to love people. And all who agreed said, amen. Amen.
Thank you, Dr. Hurlbut. I would like to present you with this proclamation. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Appreciate you. Appreciate all of you. Thank you.
Please stand as Legislator Keller leads us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item on the agenda is the approval of journal. Your copies of the journal of day 8 of 2022, June 14, 2022, is now available through Novus Agenda. Without exception, the journal will stand approved and submitted. Legislators, the referrals submitted to the legislator for the next committee cycle are available on Novus Agenda as well. There are several proclamations scheduled for this evening. Mr. Clerk.
Would members of Parents Helping Parents, Brittany Jensick, Kim Dewar, and Ms. Solomon please come forward? Also, legislators Steve Brew, Yaversha Roman, George Hebert, Jackie Smith, and Howard Mafucci. Also, President Sabrina Lamar and County Executive Adam J. Bell.
Whereas Monroe County's challenged youth are among our most valuable and precious citizens, and they require proper care and attention as soon as they are born and throughout their formative and developmental years. And whereas it is crucial that children with developmental delays receive immediate interventions, serving children at these earliest stages of development has proven in long-lasting positive effects, reducing and often eliminating the need for ongoing special services during their school years and throughout their adult life. And whereas Parents Helping Parents Coalition of Monroe County is a nonprofit organization dedicated to serving our families having children with special needs navigate the system to obtain support through the services of early intervention or preschool special education. And whereas Parents Helping Parents uses their personal experiences to provide experienced peer-to-peer support for anyone seeking their help to navigate the complexities of early intervention and pre-K special education services. And whereas their services are available through their Facebook page, printed materials, and their facilitation of special events, making themselves available to meet families where they are and help them as they need help. And whereas it is critically important that families with children know about early intervention services available for infants and toddlers with developmental delays and disabilities, so families may utilize every opportunity to provide the health and well-being of their children. And now, therefore, we, Sabrina Lamar, President, Adam J. Bello, Monroe County Executive, Steve Brew, Majority Leader, District 12, Yaversha Roman, Minority Leader, District 26, George J. Hebert, Legislator, District 15, Jackie Smith, Legislator, District 2, Tracy DeFlorio, Legislator, District 3, and Howard Mafucci, Legislator, District 10. On behalf of the entire Monroe County Legislature, do hereby recognize the exceptional services provided to families by Parents Helping Parents of Monroe County and thank them for their tireless, dedicated support.
Thank you. Wow. Hello there. Good night or good evening, everybody. We are honored to be here tonight, and we're so grateful for the opportunities that we've had to work with you to support at-risk children and families in Monroe County and across New York State. Parents Helping Parents was officially founded in 2020, but our journeys began long before that when we became parents of children with developmental disabilities. Our children were and continue to be our greatest teachers. But we were fortunate enough also to have the support of our family and our friends and our early intervention team to help us navigate those early days. Right now, early intervention is in crisis. There aren't enough providers in the program to deliver these services, these crucial services to children and families. Parents Helping Parents will continue to advocate for rate increases at the state level because that's essential in recruiting and retaining providers. And we also pledge to sit in the trenches with families so that no one has to feel alone. There is a village of support in this community, and we thank you, Mr. Bello. We thank everybody up here, and we thank the legislature, and we thank this community for being part of that village. We appreciate your ongoing support, and again, we're honored to receive this proclamation tonight.
Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you. Next proclamation.
Would Julio Sines please come forward? Also, legislators Mercedes Vasquez Simmons, Michael Udelson, and President Sabrina Lamar.
The Monroe County Legislature recognizes Julio Sines, whereas it is the sense of this legislature to honor and celebrate the people and organizations that make Monroe County a better place to live, and whereas attendant to such concern, these legislators are justly proud to honor Julio Sines, a resident of the town of Henrietta, leader in the field of communications, and strong community advocate. And whereas Julio currently serves as manager of corporate communications for Western New York for Avangrid and as a professor at Rochester Institute of Technology, having taught many subjects, including business communications and journalism, and having mentored students to prepare them for careers. And whereas in his position as Chief of Communications and Development at the Ibero-American Action League, he launched and managed Poder 97.1 FM, the first 24-hour Latin radio station in the state outside of New York City. And whereas Julio founded the Hispanic culture magazine Conexión, in 2003, and also served Digital Diversity Inc., a consulting firm specializing in multicultural marketing and content creation. And whereas Julio published a book entitled Rochester's Latino Community as part of the Images of America series after completing extensive research on the history and development of the Latino community in Greater Rochester. And now, therefore, let it be known that we, Sabrina Lamar, President, Mercedes Vasquez Simmons, Legislator District 22, and Michael Uderson, Legislator District 13, do hereby honor Julio Sáenz on this 12th day of July 2022.
So first of all, I want to thank all the honorable members of the county legislature for this honor. I want to thank my family that's here and all my friends that have come as well. And I want to thank my mother for teaching me to help the community. That's what this is all about. Everything I've done here was just to help other people and give voices to people that didn't have them. A few years ago, I met a priest who came to our church to raise money for his mission in India. He was from India, and he said, "I'll never forget this." And he said to us, "Everybody wants to spend eternity with God, but nobody wants to spend any time with Him here on earth." And that's all about helping people, and that's what all this is about. I want to thank all my fraternity brothers who are here today from Phi Beta Sigma fraternity, which makes it even more of a pleasure to help folks. I want to thank all the people that have helped me do all of this, because I certainly didn't do it alone. And once again, thank you. And let's keep making this a great place to live. Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is the public hearing, but we have to wait until 6:15. So just bear with us a few minutes. Thank you. I now declare open the public hearing entitled Adopting 2023-2028 Capital Improvement Program.
No one has registered for this public hearing this evening.
There being none, I declare this public hearing closed. We will now reconvene the July 12, 2022 meeting of the Monroe County Legislature. There are no formal committee reports scheduled for this evening. Tonight, we are joined by Hillary Olson, President and CEO of the Rochester Museum and Science Center, who will be making a presentation to the legislature.
I'm back. I'm going to come back every year. Pre-COVID, I came here and had a great conversation with some liquid nitrogen, and we had a lot of fun. And I think that I'm going to start maybe doing that again next year, where I show up with a science experiment and get you guys all involved. My name is Hillary Olson. I'm the president and CEO of the Rochester Museum and Science Center. And I thank Monroe County and the legislature for the support that you've given us throughout the years. It means a lot to the museum, it means a lot to me, and it means a lot to the Rochester community, in which we hold 1.2 million objects in trust for the community of culture, of nature, of natural history, of cultural history. The Rochester Museum and Science Center is Rochester's largest natural history museum. We are Rochester's largest science center. We are Rochester's largest cultural history museum, and we are Rochester's only planetarium, the Strassenberg Planetarium. In 1987, Monroe County accepted responsibility from the city of Rochester to support our collections and the operations of the Rochester Museum and Science Center, and since then you have done so. In 1989, the county contribution to RMSC was $1.8 million per year. Funding has declined by more than half, while operating costs have more than doubled in that time. Since 2003, Monroe County has given RMSC $900,000 per year, representing less than 15% of the RMSC's operating budget, and that is down from a high of 47% of RMSC's operating budget in the 80s. $900,000 in 2013 is equivalent to about $1.5 million today. The 1.2 million objects we have in our collection tell the story of Rochester's history, in our scientific history, our natural history, and most importantly, our cultural history. The basic care of these 1.2 million objects and artifacts costs between $1.6 and $2 million every year. That's just the basic care. That's just housing. That doesn't cover all the curatorial expenses, and it certainly doesn't cover the expenses of the building that it's in. Our accrediting body is the American Alliance of Museums, and soon our reaccreditation will be up. It has been up since about 2020, and they haven't called us, and we haven't really reached out to them. They got a little backed up during COVID, and we're using that time to plan, and we are grateful for that time. Our plans for a new museum collection storage facility started about 10 years ago during that accreditation process, and when they come back to us, they will take a look at the building that the collection, the external building that the collection is housed in, and they will ask us what our plan is to solve it. Currently, conditions at our 30,000 square foot offsite RMSC storage building are not ideal. They do not meet modern day collection storage standards for care. Heating, ventilation, and air conditioning are not adequate. And I think you know humidity and water are the killers of all things paper. We have a lot of paper. We have a lot of photography. We have a lot of wood. We have a lot of Native American artifacts. There are cracks in the roof that allow small pests to get in, and most recently we had a bat problem. This is about 2 years ago. We couldn't forcefully remove the bats because they were an endangered species. So we have dealt with that. We no longer have a bat problem, but that's an intense moment where we shouldn't have cracks in our ceilings. These objects encompass Rochester's history, our cultural history of our region, and global cultural history. They encompass science, natural history, innovation, technology, civil and civic rights, and more. These collections are made accessible to the Rochester community, students and teachers, scholars, and as source material for scholarly articles. We use them in our exhibits. We use them for research access, for online databases, object showcases, for loans to other museums and organizations, and in-person collection viewings facilitated by our RMSC staff. This past year, the exciting thing I want to tell you about what you did give us and how we used it, we were able to host an exhibit called Expedition Dinosaur. It brought more than 80,000 guests, and believe me, post-COVID, 80,000 guests is a big deal. It brought more than 80,000 guests during its run into the doors of the Museum and Science Center, 12,000 of which were students on field trips. And again, we are still struggling to come out of COVID with students on field trips, but 12,000 is actually a really big number. We've also recently opened 2 new exhibitions at the planetarium. Rochester's Eyes in Space, which tells the story of Rochester's influence in space exploration. We had a lot of help from, I don't want to say Kodak, from L3 Harris to be able to tell the story. Even today, we were showing on the dome the new images of the James Webb telescope that I think that you might have seen. We're showing that on the planetarium dome to the general public. It's super fun. The interactive exhibit engages visitors with formerly classified technologies pioneered in the Rochester region that allowed us to view distant stars, explore other planets, and see better what's happening here on Earth. We also opened the Same Sky exhibit, which explores the universal importance of skywatching through unique cultural perspectives. Developed in partnership with Indigenous Knowledge Keepers, the new permanent exhibition illuminates Haudenosaunee, Diné, and Maya approaches, both ancient and contemporary, to observing and understanding the sky and celestial bodies. We won't stop there. This year, RMSC is also opening a brand new permanent exhibit called The Wonders of Water, a hands-on interactive exploration of science, natural history, and cultural history, showing our essential local waterways, the lake, the river, the canal, and the Finger Lakes. RMSC continues to work to remain relevant and meaningful to the people of Monroe County, hosting events that get visitors engaged in current science, like Climate Action Days, or culture, like Haudenosaunee Days, or the Take It Down Organizing Against Racism field trip program. In a typical year, RMSC serves about 389,000 visitors, including 84,000 students, 49,000 people engaged through RMSC outreach programs in the community, so that you don't have to just come to the museum can come to you. And we have 135 participants in our RMSC workforce development programs, some supported by the County of Monroe, and we thank you very much. The RMSC offers 23 permanent exhibits, 8 of which reflect cultural history, 11 which reflect science and technology, and 4 of which are a hybrid of both. All include our amazing collections that I talked to you before. Thank you again for your longstanding support. Monroe County has provided the critical baseline funding for RMSC for more than 50 years. I would also like to extend an invitation to all of you to visit RMSC soon. I know I did this last year. 2 of you took me up on it. I would like to see all of you at the Museum and Science Center, at the planetarium, to be able to show you everything that we've done and everything that we're doing coming into the future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Questions? Should we do Q&A? Do you want me to stay for Q&A? All right, thank you.
This way. We will now hold the public forum. We have several people registered to address the legislature. Mr. Clark?
If you require assistance, a deputy is available to assist you in approaching the lectern. I will call 3 people forward at one time. Each speaker will have 2 minutes in which to address the legislature, and kindly conclude your remarks when the timer sounds, and then exit through the chamber doors back here. Thank you for your cooperation. And our first 3 speakers are Oliver Miller, William Benet, Vijaya Kadin. Close.
Thank you very much for allowing me to speak this evening. So the topics that I'd like to discuss briefly is the lack of broadband connectivity in a community where I live, which is a rural community, right? In this particular community, we have little to no access at all. And of course, that is a problem. So my name is Oliver Miller, and currently I'm a professor at 2 of the colleges in the area teaching most of the technology courses. So I have a good idea of how this stuff works. I represent about 30 of my neighbors who have similar issues as I do, which for the most part has come to a head because of COVID. what we have been doing in terms of connectivity is some of us have been using a satellite system, right? Hughes satellite. And if you're not familiar with it, just imagine you're trying to hit a target, a orbital satellite, which is about 22,000 miles in space. That signal goes up, it gets beamed down to a base station, and then it finds a server that has the information that you're trying to find. Well, that task or that process takes over a long time, right? And it's called a latency, a delay. It doesn't work well when you're doing things like, mostly things today like Zoom, right? Because of that delay. So we have a problem there. So I do have some props that I bought with me, but I don't think I have time to go through that. But I want to just take you through my journey, right? So I started out with HughesNet. It didn't work. I had to change my carrier over from Verizon, which I was a member with them for 30 years. That service in my area, not strong enough, so I changed from them to AT&T. While changing to AT&T, now I have to use a hotspot. I've gone through 3 hotspots, which is just a technology in there that doesn't work, right? I have spent over probably about $3,000 in trying to get internet access to work. Currently, right now, I'm with T-Mobile. Just signed up last week with them. It's a problem, and it is not working. The interesting thing about it is that I hold over 4.5 college degrees, one of them in engineering, and I cannot get this stuff to work. So you could imagine the folks in my community that don't have those types of expertise.
If you can make your final remarks, please.
Yes. So what we're asking for is any type of help the body could provide to us, right? We've spoken to different folks. We're trying to understand why some of the carriers refuse to run a cable into our neighborhood. I understand the business reasons, but that still is not going to help us. As you know, the internet is not going away, and we need to have access to that type of technology and services now and in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam President, honorable members of the legislature, County Executive Bello. I'm here tonight to urge the legislature to take action to appoint a Monroe County Public Defender. I urge that you appoint Julia Sianka as Public Defender. The last time that I spoke before this legislature was December 13th of 2005. I mention that date because that was the conclusion of the 28 years that I served as a member of the legislature representing the 23rd Legislative District, the longest tenure in the term of the legislature. I mention that only because in those 28 years, there were many times that we found ourselves at odds party to party, differences of opinion across the aisle. But there were other times when we were often able to come together in a bipartisan way. I cannot remember a single time in those 28 years when a single legislator put himself or herself between the community, the department that wanted a new head, and a bipartisan majority of the legislature to try to impose his or her will against the majority. We all know that the community is behind Julia Sianka. We all know that the Public Defender's Office is behind Julia Sianka. And quite a few of us know that there's a bipartisan majority of legislators who support the appointment of Julia Sianka as Public Defender. I urge you to take that action. Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. I came here in 2019 when I was asked by Honorable Adam Bello to give remarks during naturalization ceremony, and this is my second time standing here. My name is Bizaya. I came from Nepal in 2009 as a refugee, and I'm standing in front of you today to voice about new Americans here in Rochester. In Monroe County, we probably have about 10% of new Americans coming from other countries. Rochester City Hall, I'm also the chair of New American Advisory Council. The advisory council was started by Mayor Lovely Warren in 2020. The New American Advisory Council is an official liaison to Mayor's office and City Council. Its goal is to provide advice, knowledge, and information to Rochester's leadership so it can act on issues important to new Americans, including our immigrants and refugees. Rochester, like many other cities, continues to see influx of new Americans from various countries and cultures. Nearly 1 in 5 Rochester residents speaks English as a second language. The most common language spoken within the city limit is Hispanic. We have people from Nepal, Burma, India, China, Afghanistan. Rochester and Monroe County is like a small world where we have people from all around the country. All around the country. If we see the data, since 2010, there were the growth in population by 30,000 people. That was 4% growth in population. If we see it now, the growth of population is declining. People are moving out of Monroe County. People are moving to states like Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, New Hampshire. I'm speaking this from New Americans' perspective. A lot of new Americans are moving to Harrisburg and other states. Why? Because they are finding good opportunities, resources, so that they are finding in this state. So what I'm trying to ask is, if we can be the county of welcoming new Americans, not just in our words, right? By in action. I'm very thankful to have Adam Bello, County Executive Adam, that I share the idea of merging NAC that the city has with the Monroe County, and he is very supportive of that. So thank you for that. I'm asking this body to adopt this. We already have NAC with the City Hall, and I would like to see this. I would like to see this county-wide so that we can serve new Americans better. Thank you.
Our next 3 speakers are Michael Streb, Andrea Ryan, and Jane Maggio.
My name is Andrea Ryan, and I'm here with the environmental advocacy group Color Irondequoit Green. I live on Tarrington Road in East Irondequoit. I grew up in Monroe County, and I came back home after teaching in Cleveland for 3 years because of our incredible school systems here. As life slowed down during the pandemic, I became increasingly passionate about environmental advocacy. I was excited to see New York is taking steps to become a leader in climate action. It is so good to see that Monroe County passed a county climate action plan. However, without dedicated staff and funding to invest in the climate action plan to ensure its goals are met, it is just a piece of paper. I ask that you hire staff dedicated to the implementation of this plan, dedicate a line item in the budget solely for climate action, and that one of the first actions taken will be organics recycling facilities within the county. Climate action affects many different departments of our government, and having a dedicated sustainability coordinator would facilitate interdepartmental work. For example, new composting facilities would involve coordination between planning and development and environmental services, to say the least. Please hire staff who will focus solely on implementing the climate action plan. Please prioritize the climate resilience of Monroe County and dedicate a line item in the budget to climate action. Thank you for your time and attention.
Good evening. Last month, several of us presented to you the findings of the New York Citizens Audit. You were all emailed copies of these findings. We are here again to remind you of the findings with the hope that you take seriously the mounting concerns about election integrity and take action. I will discuss 7 of these findings. Monroe County voter rolls maintained by the New York State Board of Elections demonstrate that 1, 790 people registered after the cutoff date and voted on Election Day. 2, at least 2 people voted who were deceased. 3, at least 308 people voted who were older than the oldest living resident of the United States. 4, 7 people voted with an out-of-county address. 5, at least 26 people voted who were purged before the November 3rd, 2020 election. The total number, number 6, the total number of irregular votes in Monroe County for the November 3rd, 2020 election, as detailed above, is 4,013. Petitioners claim that these votes deprived petitioners of equal protections under the law. Number 7, analysis of the voter turnout in Monroe County using the Dr. Frank age turnout method reveals a 6-factor polynomial constant can predict voter turnout by age with a 99.9% of accuracy. This demonstrates that the turnout was not organic. I assert this fact alone and in combination with any of the other facts presented herein proves beyond a reasonable doubt that the 2020 general election was defective and must be decertified. Thank you.
Our next 3 speakers are Julie Donahue, Bruce Sprague, and Larry DeMeo.
Last month, I presented findings from the New York Citizens Audit, which you all received copies of electronically. I'm here to bring 5 of those concerns to you again. This is not a Democratic or Republican problem. Issues within the voter rolls affect every registered voter regardless of party affiliation. Monroe County voter rolls maintained by the New York State Board of Elections demonstrate that 1, a 2,084 voter discrepancy exists between the Monroe County precinct vote tabulation count and the New York State Board of Elections. And a 2,510 voter discrepancy exists between the Monroe County precinct vote tabulation count and the New York Secretary of State certified results. Additionally, a 426 voter discrepancy exists between the New York State Board of Elections and the Secretary of State regarding Monroe County. 2, at least 7,225 duplicate SBOEID numbers assigned, 233 of which voted. 3, there are 39 registered voters purged with no purge date. 4, 88% of the voting age population of Monroe County is registered to vote. The following age groups from 18 to 100 have an excess of 95% registration: 63, 68, 69, and 73. The following age groups from 18 to 100 have an excess of 100% registration: 74, 110%, 86, 103%, 87, 102%, 97, 105%, 98, 104%, 99, 103%, and 100, 117%. 5, 98 people voted without a residence address in their voter roll. Petitioners claim these findings deprived petitioners of equal protection under the law and proves beyond a reasonable doubt that the 2020 general election was defective and must be decertified. Thank you.
Good evening. The New York Citizens Audit is a volunteer organization exploring New York voter rolls and the 2020 elections using official and publicly available materials. I'm here to help disseminate their findings. On June 14th, 2022, a petition for redress of grievances was presented to this Monroe County Legislature requesting investigation into the election violations of 11 provisions of the New York State election law and 12 specific findings relevant to Monroe County. This resolution document is for the legislators' signatures acknowledging voter laws broken, elections compromised, and the recommended action to be taken by the New York State Attorney General and the New York State Board of Elections. This resolution document will be presented to the Clerk of Legislature for distribution to each legislator. New York Citizens Audit have uncovered and compiled evidence of violations of 11 provisions of New York State law, election law, and 12 specific findings relevant to Monroe County. These findings are detailed in the petition for redress of grievances that was emailed to each member. The other speakers who have both spoken reviewed those Monroe County facts. That the members of the Monroe County Legislature hereby notify the President of the New York State Senate, the Speaker of the New York State Assembly, and the members of Congress from the state of New York that it is the justifiable position of the Monroe Legislature that we set aside the results of the Monroe County elections as irredeemably compromised, and due to the irredeemably flawed nature of these elections that prevent the declaration of a clear winner of said presidential electors. Number one, reclaim the 2020 presidential electors. 2, decertify the 2020 federal presidential election. 3, decertify the New York down ballot races where the winner cannot prove they won by a margin in excess of the total irregular registrations and votes in that voting district. Number 4, a full forensic audit of the 2020 election. And number 5, reject electronic voting and move to paper ballots. Thank you.
Good evening. On the 3rd of last month, the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency of the United States Department of Homeland Security released a report entitled Vulnerabilities Affecting Dominion Voting Systems ImageCast X. The CISA report concluded that these vulnerabilities present risks that should be mitigated as soon as possible. In other words, these Dominion voting machines have been vulnerable to cyber hacking attacks in the past. As I presented at the last Monroe County Legislature meeting, these same Dominion voting machines are used in 52 of New York State's 62 counties, including Monroe County. Thus, we now know that the voting machines used in Monroe County have been vulnerable to cyber hacking attacks. 9 separate vulnerabilities were identified in this report that would enable an attacker to undertake the following 8 illegal interferences. Number 1, install malicious code, which could also be spread to other vulnerable ImageCast X devices via removable media. Number 2, disguise malicious applications on a device. Number 3, gain elevated privileges on a device and or install malicious code. Number 4, escalate privileges on a device and or install malicious code. Number 5, spread malicious code to ImageCast X devices from the election management system. Number 6, gain administrative privileges on a device and install malicious code or perform arbitrary administrative actions. Number 7, gain access to sensitive information and perform privileged actions potentially affecting other election equipment. And number 8, print an arbitrary number of ballots without authorization. These 8 points were quoted directly from the report. This report also lists 13 separate mitigations or solutions to deal specifically with each of these vulnerabilities. These solutions are complex and time-consuming and assume that we continue to use the same voting machines and systems that have created all these vulnerabilities in the first place. Why add complexity on top of complexity? My recommendation is to reject electronic voting machines altogether and move to paper ballots. Thank you.
Our next three speakers are Maureen Leopold, Amber Brown, and Candy Tabor.
Good evening. I'm a neighbor of Oliver Miller, who spoke first, out in Wheatland, and we are an underserved community. There's approximately 1 1/3 mile on my road that doesn't have broadband. It's on both sides of us, on Route 36 and up our road, actually, up to part of Owaka Trail. And because of the low population, there's not that many houses, so Spectrum, when I contact them to see what I can do, they told me it would be $50,000 to run that line down the road. It would be $10,000 to $13,000 per home to hook up to it. Well, obviously that was out of our reach. So we have been working with the town to try to find ways in order to fix this problem. As you know, once the pandemic hit, it brought on a whole set of problems for people that didn't have good access to the internet. I have FrontierNet. It's barely adequate. I have speeds of like 1 megabyte per second, and you can't do an awful lot with that. Going to school, getting health care, even doing volunteer work, which I do. I'm on like 5 different committees or boards, and we do Zoom. And we're still doing Zoom, which is great, except it keeps dropping. So I'm here to, ask you about equity. Is it equitable when you think about Monroe County and Internet for All, when you're not really including all? We're working with the town now to try to petition for some of the ARPA funds. Hopefully, the funds wouldn't be as much as it was quoted to us, because there's a few other areas, like Oliver said, that don't have the internet. So basically, that's why I'm here. We're putting in an application. I hope you will listen to our pleas when you read that application. So thank you very much.
I'm here on behalf of multiple Collier Community Green organizations, including those in Brighton, Fairport, Penfield, Pittsford, Rochester, Rush, and Webster. We want to thank you for the bipartisan passing of the Climate Action Plan. Though Monroe County may still feel insulated from climate change, it is critical that we invest in real action to keep us resilient and to make Monroe County a leader in climate action. We have 3 requests. We ask you to assign staff dedicated solely to the implementation of the County Climate Action Plan. We ask you to add a line item for climate action to the budget to address the community level work that needs to be done beyond our current baseline. And we ask that one of the first priorities be the building of multiple composting facilities within Monroe County. I have with me a petition with 411 signatures asking you to build multiple composting facilities within the county. This is an area of concern to your constituents because food and yard waste that is added to landfills decomposes without oxygen and releases methane in the process. Over a 20-year period, methane is 80 times more potent at warming than carbon dioxide. The New York State DEC food donation and food scraps recycling law that went into effect in January requires most businesses that generate 2 tons of food waste per week to divert it from the landfill if there is an organics recycler within 25 miles. Currently, no facility exists within Monroe County that can accommodate this law. The benefits of building these facilities include job creation, revenue, reduced greenhouse gas production, creation of beneficial soil additives, education, and empowerment. We encourage our county legislature to see this as an irresistible opportunity. Tons of food scraps are generated within our county. Wasting this resource in the landfill contributes to climate change and robs the county of the opportunity to turn these scraps into valuable compost, which can ultimately save money that would otherwise be spent on gallons of chemical fertilizers and pesticides. I'm sure that people come to you every month with difficult requests. This would be an easy win. This would be a win for farms, businesses, citizens, and for county government. We got over 400 signatures on this petition really easily. The people of Monroe County want this. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Candy Tabor, and I'm here to represent Monroe County SCOPE. SCOPE is a group of American citizens in New York State fighting to keep our Second Amendment rights. We believe that the Second Amendment right, if protected, will protect all of the others. Surprisingly, we're not here asking for any money. We're not here asking for any particular support. We came here consistently for the past 8 months asking that you amend a law that prevented one of our rights. Finally, a week ago, we received a message from one of you, actually a conversation, 29 inquiries requesting a one-on-one with the 39 people in this room. 8 months later, we got a response that basically said it wouldn't do any good. We can't grant you the right to carry a concealed carry licensed firearm in Monroe County parks because it's illegal in New York State. Dang, didn't know that. I don't have a law degree. I haven't read every one of the New York State laws. How much time could we have saved? But we learned. You're not listening. You're not interested in what we have to say. 37 inquiries, 1 response, over a year and a half. Recently, we found out how many licensed gun owners there are in Monroe County. We're on a new focus. Maybe they will listen. I believe an election's coming up, and we're energized. Thank you.
Our next 3 speakers are Henry McCartney, Patty Donahue, and Marcus Williams.
Good evening. I'm Henry McCartney. I'm retired and I live in Cornhill. I hope all you came to our Cornhill Festival. It was a marvelous couple of days, and I think we've reestablished it for the future. I also enjoyed walking over here along our waterfront, and if you haven't gone down Exchange Street or the path along Exchange Street, the state and city together transformed an eyesore into probably one of the most pleasant walks we have in the city. So I'm a member of Cornhill Neighbors. I'm also a member of an organization that's not related but has a similar name, and that's called Cornhill Navigation. And for the last 5 years, Cornhill Navigation has been working, and by the way, they run the Sand Patch out of Pittsford, so you're familiar with them. They've been working to bring a boat, a passenger boat to Cornhill Landing or Cornhill in downtown Rochester. And I think bringing that boat downtown or to Cornhill and the change of our waterfront will really make this the year of the river for us and have a major impact on our city. I look at it as having 5 benefits. One is city youth don't know a lot about our river, about the history of the river, about the ecology of the river, and this nonprofit organization does focus on serving students, and being downtown, they can really now serve city youth. Number 2, the west side of the river
will have a new amenity. And all of Monroe County have a new amenity, but we look at it as being on our side of the river. Number three, we would love to see tourists come into Cornhill. We've got restaurants, a nice walk in a historic area. Oops. Number four is it's going to help downtown. The businesses will have things to bring people to, have parties, whatever, and that'll be great. And then number five, we've got more waterfront to the south that is under study now, and that will be an economic boom for the city and for the county. So the next speaker is the president of Cornhill Navigation, Patty, and I'll give it over to Patty.
Hi, good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. Henry already introduced me as the current volunteer chair for Cornhill Navigation. As many of you know, it as Sam Patch. I'm also the retired vice president of communications for Visit Rochester, and I represented Monroe County, Rochester, and the Finger Lakes area for around 20 years, all over the country, and in some cases, some of our foreign countries. And so it gives me great pleasure to be here tonight to say that we will be bringing a new boat downtown. Specifically, we are looking at the educational opportunities that will be available to many of our local students who haven't had the opportunity to ever be on the water. We have a number of educational programs that we're doing on the water, and many of you might remember when you were wee little ones in school that it was always fun to go out on a field trip somewhere, and perhaps you remember something a little bit more when you dump something in the water and come up and then look under a microscope and see all the crazy things that are actually in the water. We've done a lot of work on this. It's not the replica canal boat that you know as the Sam Patch. It's a brand new boat. It is going to be a wonderful boat for education. It's going to be a wonderful boat for cruising, for the public cruises. It's also going to be a wonderful venue for various charters. We are 85% funded on this $2 million project. We have also have a welcome center and office located in Cornhill Landing, made possible by the help of the city of Rochester. I would like to say that we also have had Rochester Rock the Riverway and a number of other individuals. And I'm here today to ask the county legislature to consider funding for us, help us get that last 15%. We will be submitting the Bring Back Monroe application, but any other opportunities, we'd really appreciate your support. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Marcus C. Williams. I'm a business owner, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a community activist, I am a community action coordinator, I do mentorship, I also have my own outreach program that I work on with at-risk youth. We have a lot of serious issues throughout our county, but one that nobody has brought up tonight is public safety. Community safety needs to be at the first and foremost top of the list of everything that we do when we consider anything that we are doing. I see all of you guys here today, all from different sides of the aisles, from different creeds, from different colors, from different backgrounds, from different histories. But one thing that we can all agree on is that all of us deserve a reasonable sense of safety and security in our community. We are not getting that. My district is the 25th legislative district. We have a disproportionate amount of violent crime and overdose deaths, not just regular overdoses. Last month, I had to apply Narcan to 2 different individuals to bring them back. I don't know if you guys have ever had to do that, but let me tell you, it is not a pleasant experience, and Lord forbid that any of you ever have to do that, okay? Why I'm here to ask for today is I'm here to ask you guys to advocate for us, to advocate for public safety, to stand up for public safety in our communities. It seems as though many people don't feel the pinch or the pain from crime until it hits them at home or in their wallet. Let me tell you, as a business owner, it is hitting all of us in our wallet. It is impacting us all across the county. People do not want to come into the city to do business because many times they see far too much crime. And not even 1/10 of the crime that we have is broadcasted in the news media today. It is abysmal that we are not having more people that are our elected representatives to stand up for us. Please petition to our local, state, and federal government for more money for community safety, focusing on police and law enforcement. That is why I'm here today. Thank you very much for your time. Be blessed and be well.
Our last public forum speaker is Michael Streb. This concludes the public forum.
We will now proceed with the consideration of local laws. Will the clerk please read the first item on the agenda?
Item number 1, referral 22-0220, enact a local law entitled Monroe County School Bus Stop Armed Demonstration Program.
Moved by legislator John, seconded by legislator Brew. This is for introduction purposes only. Next item.
Item number 2, referral 22-0220, providing that local law entitled Monroe County School Bus Stop Armed Demonstration Program be tabled.
Moved by legislator John, seconded by legislator Brew. This is a motion to table. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Item number 3, referral 22-0220, fixing a public hearing on local law entitled Monroe County School Bus Stop Armed Demonstration Program.
Moved by legislator John, seconded by legislator Brew and legislator Roman.
Noted.
This is to set a public hearing. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Item number 4, referral 22-0222, enact a local law entitled Hybrid Video Conferencing by County Public Bodies.
Moved by legislator John, seconded by legislator Brew. This is for introduction purposes only. Next item.
Item number 5, referral 22-0220, providing that local law entitled Hybrid Video Conferencing by County Public Bodies be tabled.
Moved by legislator John, seconded by legislator Brew. This is a motion to table. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Item number 6, referral 22-0220, fixing a public hearing on local law entitled Hybrid Video Conferencing by County Public Bodies.
Moved by legislator John, seconded by legislator Brew. This is to set the public hearing. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Item number 7, referral 22-0161, providing that resolution entitled Adopting 2023-2028 Capital Improvement Program be lifted from the table.
Moved by legislator Taylor, seconded by legislators John, Hebert, Alcoffer, Milne, Keller, Dondorfer, and Delahanty. This is to lift from the table. Is there any discussion? Or all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Item number 8, referral 22-0161, providing that resolution entitled Adopting 2023-2028 Capital Improvement Program be adopted.
Moved by legislator Taylor, seconded by legislators John, Hebert, Alcoffer, Milne, Keller, Dondorfer, and Delahanty. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? I'm sorry, did I see your hand, legislator? Oh. Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Item number 9, referral 22-0201, authorize the use of a New York State Department of Agriculture and Markets short environmental assessment form for unlisted actions related to agricultural districts and enter into a cooperative agreement with the New York State Department of Agriculture and Markets regarding state environmental quality reviews for Monroe County agricultural district processes.
Moved by legislator John, seconded by legislator Taylor. This is for introductory purposes only. Next item.
Item number 10, referral 22-0201, providing that resolution authorizing entitled Authorizing Use of New York State Department of Agriculture and Markets Short Environmental Assessment Form for unlisted actions related to agricultural districts and entering into a cooperative agreement with New York State Department of Agriculture and Markets regarding state environment quality reviews for Monroe County agricultural district processes be tabled.
Moved by legislator John, seconded by legislator Taylor. This is a motion to table. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Item number 11, referral 22-0201, fixing public hearing for authorizing use of New York State Department of Agriculture and Markets short environmental assessment form for unlisted actions related to agricultural districts.
Moved by legislator John, seconded by legislator Taylor. This is to set the public hearing. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Item number 12, referral 22-0202, classification of action, designation of lead agency, and determination of significance pursuant to State Environmental Quality Review Act for additions to the Monroe County Western and Eastern agricultural districts.
Moved by legislator John, seconded by legislator Hebert. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Item number 13, referral number 22-0203, authorizing additions to Monroe County agricultural districts.
Moved by legislator Taylor, seconded by legislator Alcoffer. This is for introductory purposes only. Next item.
Item number 14, referral 22-0203, providing that resolution entitled Authorized Additions to Monroe County Agricultural Districts be tabled.
Moved by legislator Taylor, seconded by legislator Alcoffer. This is a motion to table. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Item number 15, referral 22-0203, fixing a public hearing on resolution entitled Authorized Additions to Monroe County Agricultural Districts.
Moved by legislators Taylor, seconded by legislator Alcoffer. This is to set the public hearing. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Item number 16, referral 22-0204, accepting grant from Health Research for Public Health Emergency Preparedness Program and authorize a contract with the University of Rochester.
Second.
Moved by legislator Mills, seconded by legislator Delahanty. Is there any discussion? Yeah. Legislator Hasman. Thank you.
Noted.
Is there any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Item number 17, referral 22-0205, accepting grant from New York State Department of Health for the Sexually Transmitted Disease Intervention Program.
Second.
Moved by legislator Mills, seconded by legislator Delahanty. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Item number 18, referral 22-0206, accepting additional funding from New York State Department of Transportation for the state-supported Consolidated Local Street and Highway Improvement Program.
Second. Moved by Legislator Keller, seconded by Legislator Delahanty. Is there any discussion? Being none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Item number 19, referral 22-0207, accepting aid to localities grant from New York State Division of Criminal Justice Services for the offices of District Attorney and Public Defender.
Second. Moved by Legislator Dondorfer, seconded by Legislator Delahanty. Is there any discussion? Go ahead, Legislator.
Funding covers for existing.
There's a lot of talking.
Acting public defender through the president.
Flip your mic on.
Existing positions.
Eric Teifke, Acting Public Defender, through the President. The answer is existing positions.
Thank you very much. President, these grants provide large amounts of funding to support this critical. This is the 39th year that the county's received this grant, and I'm guessing that there's always a DA and a public defender to oversee these grants and the services they pay for. Acting public defender for his, but an acting he is mostly just that. Monroe County Public Defender's Office leads over 70 attorneys who represent close to 4,000 and their families. Many of these members of the community are vulnerable to languishing. Office has now been without an appointed permanent leader. The process was set up by the legislature president for
Madam President, point of order, this is not germane to the matter of things. We're approving funds, not the leadership of.
Are you asking me a direct question? Oh, well, per Robert's rules, the presiding officer is not to get involved in a debate on the floor. If this is something that you want to discuss after this meeting, I'll be more than happy to do so.
Well, I'd like to ask the question on the record, and the rules of
The rule on the point of order.
I'm going to rule with Legislator Colby on the point of order.
President, I would appeal the ruling of the chair and all the rules then stipulate for a recall of
No. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Yes sustains the rule of the president. Mr. Brew?
Yes.
Mr. Brew votes yes. Ms. Roman? No. Ms. Roman votes no. Mr. Alcoffer? Yes. Mr. Alcoffer votes yes. Ms. Barnhart? No. Ms. Barnhart votes no. Mr. Baines?
No.
Mr. Baines votes no. Mr. Blankley?
No.
Mr. Blankley votes no. Mr. Burgess?
No.
Mr. Burgess votes no. Mr. Colby?
Yes.
Mr. Colby votes yes. Mr. Delahanty?
Yes.
Mr. Delahanty votes yes. Ms. Delvecchio Hoffman? No. Ms. Delvecchio Hoffman votes no. Mrs. DeFlorio is excused. Mr. Dondorfer?
Yes.
Mr. Dondorfer votes yes. Mr. Frazier? No. Mr. Frazier votes no. Ms. Hasman? No. Ms. Hasman votes no. Mr. Hebert? Yes. Mr. Hebert votes yes. Ms. Hughes Smith. Ms. Hughes Smith votes no. Mr. Johns. Mr. Johns votes yes. Mr. Keller. Mr. Keller votes yes. Mr. Long.
No.
Mr. Long votes no. Mr. Mafucci. Mr. Mafucci votes no. Mr. Marinetti. Mr. Marinetti votes yes. Mr. McCabe is excused. Mr. Milne. Mr. Milne votes yes. Ms. Smith. Ms. Smith votes yes. Ms. Taylor. Ms. Taylor votes yes. Ms. Vasquez Simmons. Ms. Vasquez Simmons votes no. Ms. Vecchio. Ms. Vecchio votes no. Mr. Udelson. Mr. Udelson votes no. President Lamar.
Yes.
President Lamar votes yes. 13 to 14, rule of the chair is not sustained.
The process was set up by the legislature president for residents to provide feedback. The selection committee made recommendations to the legislature. Legislators recommendations were submitted to the president more than a month ago, yet no name has been brought to the legislature for vote. The members of the public defender's office submitted like the attorneys and staff of the public defender's office and the people in the President, I would respectfully request that you provide an update on this process, specifically the legislature and the community.
Is there any other discussion?
I would like to read into the record the letter from the Public Defender's Office. Dear President Lamar, we as attorneys and staff of the Monroe County Public Defender submit this letter urging you to put the Public Defender recommendation to a vote at your upcoming meeting on July 12th, 2022. Our office has been without permanent leadership since the end of 2021 and without explanation. Important position has been held hostage and abused for political purposes. Community forum was held months ago, and the community showed up and spoke. They asked for transparency. They asked for someone who would not fire passionate and talented attorneys who have dedicated their careers to representing the community. They asked for someone with experience. Thus far, those community voices have been ignored. Delaying this vote in order to push your personally preferred candidate is a poor example of governance, and this unwarranted interference has real consequences for the community you have sworn to serve. The most vulnerable who will feel the consequences. Defendants who appear before judges throughout the county, the parents and children who appear in family courts, and those who wait in prison hoping justice will prevail in their appeals. Over the last 7 months, members of our office have proactively reached out and spoken to the legislature. We sent individual letters to you, President Lamar, with no response. In these 7 months, no one has asked us what we need in order to best serve the community members we represent. Although you have not asked, we have continued to tell you. We need a leader with significant experience in indigent defense, a leader who understands the difficult work that we all do day in and day out in dozens of courts across Monroe County, and a leader who is familiar with the particular challenges currently facing our office. Every employee in our office should feel confident that our leader shares our mission to provide unflinching advocacy to our clients who are so frequently the most vulnerable in our community. That leader is Julie Sianka. Ms. Sianka is undoubtedly the most qualified candidate for the position. She has a specialized understanding of how to successfully represent clients countywide while also understanding the specific issues facing clients living in the city. She has proven herself as a passionate advocate and ally for our county. She has dedicated her career to representing the indigent in Monroe County, earning the respect and admiration not only of her colleagues, but of all stakeholders in our community. The caucuses submitted their recommendations to you over a month ago, yet you have refused to bring the matter to a vote and give our community the leader they deserve. It's shameful that our energy and focus
Are
has
we
been
still on item 19?
away from representing the indigent. To urge you to end this political stalemate, you could do so on Tuesday. We hope you are listening to the needs of our community, who are best served by selecting Julie Sianka as the public defender of Monroe County. Sincerely, the attorneys and staff of the Monroe County Defender.
Thank you for reading that long letter, although it doesn't represent all of the people in the Public Defender's Office. Thank you, though. We're still on the referral. We need to vote on this, on referral number 19. Is there any other discussion about this referral only? Go right ahead.
Deals with the public defender office. So
Public
President
Defender
Lamar-
and District Attorney's Office to cover salaries of existing employees.
Absolutely. So President Lamar, I would respectfully request that you provide an update of this process that we have highlighted today.
Per Robert's rule, I will not get into a debate. The presiding officer will not get into a debate with you on the floor. If this is something you want to discuss after the meeting, I'll make myself available.
Okay, so I'm going to ask the question one more time.
As long as it's pertaining to the funding to cover the positions in referral 19.
Okay, so can I please have an update on the individual who will be overseeing these dollars?
The ones that haven't been approved yet,
The ones that I believe will be approved soon.
but they haven't been approved. So you want me to predict? Look, we're talking about item number 19. We're voting on funding to cover positions for the District Attorney's Office and the Public Defender's Office. That's what this referral is about.
Understood. We have the floor. Again, we've actually submitted legislation in regards to the Public Defender's Office. It has been denied. We do not have an answer as to why it was denied.
Per Robert's Rule of Order, I will not get into a debate on the floor with you. If this is something you want to discuss after this, I'll make myself available.
No
Thank
problem.
you. Thank you.
All right. We'll continue the conversation later. I just want to say that we have tried to reach out. We have done various steps as a caucus to ensure that we try to move on and move forward from the reality of the Public Defender's Office not having a public defender.
This is about the District Attorney's Office and the Public Defender's Office. I'm sorry, go ahead.
That'll be all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any other discussion? Go ahead, Legislator Baines.
Madam President, I rise to simply ask, not debate, elected representatives of the county of Monroe charged under.
My answer is the same, Legislator
I'm
Baines.
not asking for an answer. I'm simply asking to put on the record for your, have an up or down vote. I'm not advocating.
Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Item number 20, referral 22-0208, authorizing contract with Cayuga Home for Children for therapy services with Raise the Age Youth.
Moved by Legislator Downdorfer, seconded by Legislator Delahanty. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Item number 21, referral 22-0209, amending Resolution 282 of 2020, authorizing contract renewals with the Board of Regents of the University of Oklahoma Health Sciences Center and Coordinated Care Services for services related to Finger Lakes Regional Youth Justice Team Grant Program.
Moved by Legislator Downdorfer, seconded by Legislator Delahanty. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Item number 22, referral number 22-0210, approving amended and restated Monroe County Deferred Compensation Plan as previously adopted by New York State Deferred Compensation Board.
Moved by Legislator Delahanty, seconded by Legislator Marionetti. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Item number 23, referral 22-0211, authorizing acquisition of interest in real property for Salt Road Highway Improvement Project in the town of Penfield.
Second.
Moved by legislator Keller, seconded by legislator Delahanty. Is there any discussion? Thank you, legislator. Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Item number 24, referral 22-0212, authorizing creation of one new position in Public Safety Department, Office of Probation, Community Corrections, and one new position in District Attorney's Office in order to implement United States Justice Department's SWIFT, Certain and Fair Supervision Program, and authorizing agreement with the City of Rochester Police Department and other community partners to carry out the SWIFT, Certain and Fair Supervision HOPE grant in Monroe County.
Second.
Moved by legislator Downdorfer, seconded by legislator Delahanty. Is there any discussion? Yes. Thank you.
Noted.
Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Item number 25, referral 22-0213, amending 2022-2027 capital improvement program, increasing funding for project entitled Friendship Place at Monroe Community Hospital.
Second.
Moved by legislator Mills, seconded by legislator Delahanty. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Item number 26, referral 22-0213.BR, resolution authorizing the issuance of $1,110,500 of bonds of the County of Monroe, New York, to finance costs of the Friendship Place project in and for said county at an estimated maximum cost of $1,386,333.
Second.
Moved by legislator Mills, seconded by legislator Delahanty. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Item number 27, referral 22-0214, authorizing settlement of lawsuit in New York State Supreme Court, Monroe County, index number I-2014-011911.
Move it, Madam President.
Moved by legislator Delahanty, seconded by legislator Marionetti. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Item number 28, referral number 22-0215, authorizing settlement of lawsuit in New York State Supreme Court, Monroe County, index number E201-8008-332.
Move it, Madam President. Second.
Moved by legislator Delahanty, seconded by legislator Marionetti. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Item number 29, referral 22-0219, amending 2022 operating budget to add $5 admission for veterans at Seneca Park Zoo.
Move it, Madam President.
Moved by legislator Delahanty, seconded by legislator Marionetti. This is for introductory purposes only. Next item.
You know, it's the amendment's on the agenda.
The next one was amendment.
Item number 30, referral number 22-0219, providing that resolution entitled amend the 2022 operating budget to add $5 admission for veterans at Seneca Park Zoo be amended.
Madam President. Second.
Moved by legislator Delahanty, seconded by legislator Marionetti. This is a motion to amend. Is there any discussion?
Madam President, I'd like to
Noted.
Go ahead, legislator Keller.
I'm proud to support this legislation and pleased to offer this amendment to provide further relief and thanks to our veterans and their friends and families. This amendment will provide for up to 4 guests to join the veterans at the Seneca Park Zoo at the same price. Veterans served our country honorably, and while we cannot ever fully repay them, also recognize that their families serve alongside them and often bear the greater burden during. By increasing the number of additional guests who may be admitted at $1 cost, we're providing an opportunity for veterans to enjoy the zoo with their family, while at the same time ensuring that we won't break. I would like to thank County Executive Bello for sending a letter in support.
Noted.
Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Item number 31, referral 22-0219, providing that resolution entitled Amend the 2022 Operating Budget to add $5 admission for veterans at Seneca Park Zoo be adopted as amended.
Move it, Madam President.
Moved by Legislator Delahanty, second by Legislator Marionette. Adopt as amended. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Item number 32, referral 22-0221, authorizing intermunicipal agreement with Ontario County for Monroe County Jail to accept and maintain custody of inmates from Ontario County Jail.
Second.
Moved by Legislator Hebert, second by Legislator Dondorfer and Delahanty. Legislator. Other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Item number 33, referral 22-0246, approving Monroe Community College's 2022-2023 operating budget.
Move, Madam President. Second.
Moved by Legislator Alcoffer, second by Legislator Delahanty, for introduction purposes only. Next item.
Item number 34, referral 22-0246, providing that resolution entitled Approving Monroe Community College's 2022-2023 operating budget be tabled.
Move, Madam President. Second.
Moved by Legislator Alcoffer, second by Legislator Delahanty. This is a motion to table. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Item number 35, referral 22-0246, fixing public hearing on resolution entitled Approving Monroe Community College's 2022-2023 operating budget.
Move, Madam President. Second.
Moved by Legislator Alcoffer, second by Legislator Delahanty. This is to set the public hearing. Is there any discussion? None. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Item number 36, referral 22-0247, amending resolution 206 of 2020, standard workday and reporting resolution for county elected and appointed officials for retirement credit purposes.
Move it, Madam President. Second.
Moved by Legislator Delahanty, seconded by Legislator Marionette. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
For those of you looking at the agenda from earlier that I sent, item number 37 is being withdrawn. There was a typo, and to make it as clean as possible, it will be withdrawn tomorrow. So the new item number 37 is referral 22-0249, confirming a reappointment to the Monroe County Library System Board of Trustees.
Moved by Legislator John, seconded by Legislator Brew. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Item number 38, referral 22-0250, confirming appointment to the Monroe County Traffic Safety Board.
Moved by Legislator John, second by Legislator Bru. Is there any discussion? None, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. There being no unfinished business,
Madam President, this meeting stands adjourned. The next meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, August 9th, 2022 at 6 p.m.